Hi friends! Today we're going to do a night scene and we're using a black canvas today. So far all I've done is put a nice light layer of liquid clear as a nice base coat. You want to use as little as possible of the liquid clear because it can really, well, one, it takes forever to dry, and you want to just get it really like mixed in on the canvas. One time I painted a painting and I put too much, I put like a big glob in the middle and I ended up doing a waterfall and it just flowed and flowed off the canvas for months, it seemed, as it dried slowly. It's kind of funny, it just like looked like water flowing. Kind of a happy accident, you know, something I wasn't intending. But it did flow off the canvas, which I was surprised about. So I just have a little bit of Prussian blue here that I'm working into the top of the sky here. We're having it pretty dark. It's hard to see because this is a black canvas and the Prussian blue is a very, it's not opaque, it is translucent. And so I'm gonna put that up there, get that dark, and then gonna work it down, maybe like halfway down the canvas, but really keeping the majority of the concentration of that dark blue paint up at the top of the canvas here. I'm gonna go ahead and wash this 1-inch brush. And this is odorless paint thinner, or mineral spirits. And we're just gonna wash the brush here, shake off the excess, and then we're just gonna give it a good spank in there. Oh, right. Let's see. So I'm gonna do kind of like, it's like sunset. It's pretty, it's been dark, but the sun has gone down, definitely behind this mountain range we're gonna pepper in later. But let's go ahead and start and get, this is cadmium yellow here. I'm gonna put that down. I don't know if that brush got quite clean enough, so I'm going to clean it one more time in this mineral spirits. It's looking a little green to me, a little more green than I'd like. Probably shouldn't have started with the Prussian blue, but I got excited. That's okay. We're going to do a double washing on this brush today. Alright, let's get some more of this cadmium yellow on here. And I'm taking it quite low in the horizon here because I really want to build up a really magnificent sky here. And wow, doesn't that yellow really sparkle on the top of this canvas? The liquid clear is definitely necessary for this technique. I've tried doing this before with like a little bit of paint thinner and then just like putting just the base colors like I did. And you know, it just turns out so flat looking. The liquid clear it's nice and it's shiny when it dries. And so when you add paint, and then the oil paints too are oil based. Yeah, so you get it. Yeah, so don't use too much paint thinner. Also with the liquid clear, we're gonna really do our best today to not use paint thinner as much as we can today. We don't really want to clean our brush anymore because it has a really weird reaction with the liquid clear. So now I'm just gonna take up a little bit of this alizarin crimson. I'll put that on the brush, and this is just to make a nice transition color between the cadmium yellow and the Prussian blue, which is a nice dark blue. So I'm gonna, you can barely see it on the canvas. It's such a translucent color, this alizarin crimson. There's other colors like bright red is nice and opaque, and so we like that for signing our paintings since it's opaque and it will show up on a dark surface, no problem. But this is translucent, so it really blends into the darkness, which is really working in our favor right now. Okay, so since the crimson here. I'm just gonna move that up as much as I can to be the nice transitional color into the phthalo blue here. And then I'm gonna blend the yellow up here soon. But I really wanna just move that concentration of the alizarin crimson up. I've really been enjoying these clear nights we've been having. You can see in the stars, it's winter, so it's so cold at night, there's no cloud cover, which is always pretty cool. All right, let's see, I'm gonna work this down. And so when you see, there's no cloud cover, it's been a new moon recently, and the moon's been setting earlier. And so at night, we're really having these nice shows. Aurora Borealis has been showing recently. I should probably do one of those paintings soon. That'd be fun, since we are getting those lovely shows here, even in Oregon, clear down to the 45th parallel. We're getting those magnificent light shows as a result of the solar flare over the Arctic. All right, I'm just gonna kind of start blending this up, this lightness. And we're not using a lot of colors today, so we really want to take the time and really blend this up nice and casual, like nice and transitional, you know, very nice. All right. Pretty close here. I do love watching the sunset. I live on the coast, so we're pretty much the last piece of the west coast to see the sun before it peaks into the Pacific Ocean for the day. I always find that time to be very special. I'm going to go ahead and wash the brush right now because I want to start bringing in the Prussian blue from the top here. I could use another brush, but we'll just clean this one. Shake off the excess. Give it a good spank, and since it's, I'll be a little extra cautious with my cleaning, and I'm gonna kind of dry the bristles off on this paper towel as well. I really do not want any sort of paint thinner, especially up in the dark part, to mess up the liquid clear that we got going on here. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of start in the middle here. I don't want to pick up too much color of that blue, but I do want to start bringing it down. The reason why we did the transitional color of the crimson between the yellow is if I don't want a green sky. I mean, sometimes a green sky, actually I almost did a green sky tonight. I love phthalo green. I bought too much phthalo green, so I want to do a phthalo green kind of episode. We'll do that in the future. But for now, I really want a green sky. So, we'll see how that does. All right. We're gonna call that good enough. Wash the brush one last time. Oh, there. Before we move on here. Okay. Get off the excess. All right, now we're gonna work on our sky. Have you ever been out in like an ultra clear night and big open sky, you get out of town, you know, there's like little to no light pollution, and you look up and it's the Milky Way. You're like, oh my gosh. I remember the first time I saw it, I was so impressed. It's one of the things I loved about being in Hawaii as well, is at least the Big Island, I think all of Hawaii, but I know the Big Island, they have light pollution regulations, and so you can see the Big Dipper out, like in town even, because of the rules. And I appreciate that. Thank you, Hawaii. All right, well, we are going to just pepper in a little bit of kind of like clouds almost, and so we're going to kind of be simulating the kind of like, they look like clouds in space. They have like kind of like these dark zones of dense light blocking dust, and so like what you see is like there'll be like some shadows, but these light bits, that's the stars poking through the dark matter that's like light blocking. I think that's pretty cool. And so when you see this, it's like a higher concentration of stars here. Our Milky Way is spiral shaped. It's pretty, so it's like a big spiral. And what we see is a disc shape, and so what we see, since we're like in it and it's like a flat overall, what we see is like our kind of like arm of the spiral that's coming out. So since I have a little bit of pink color, I kind of had it on that side, so I'm kind of adding it up here because I do want to add some like richness and like show the different light pockets that are shining through those dense clouds of matter. I've always loved space. Been truly fascinated by it. It's hard not to, you know. But wow, what's the unknown and search? Going where no one has gone before. Let's see. Nice light pocket, I think, right here. Oh, a few more. Oh, you have to clean the brush so much with these. It's okay. We're just kind of making some, you know, nice clouds that kind of go off the canvas here. And we're just trying to mimic that spiral of the disc that's in the sky. So much of our calendar like coincides with the rotation of the Earth and where the position of the Milky Way is. I've always found it very fascinating. There's cultures like the Mayans. You know, they would base, they had games even based on like the rotation of the stars and the sun. And like they played this game where they hit the ball with their hip. And, you know, the equinox or the solstice, you'll see the sun come through, you know, like the basketball hoop essentially. And I think it's kind of cool that it's like almost like Stonehenge, or there's all these other naturally occurring, well, not naturally occurring, but like we planned this out. We used our heads, we used math, what have you. Okay, this is feeling like a good start with the first white. I'm going to start blending this out. This is a little finicky. This is pretty much like the whole kind of painting, so we're going to really be spending a lot of time on like making these clouds, because that's really like the magnificent part. And then the rest of this is just kind of, you'll see. We're having fun. Alright, so I'm just going to kind of fluff these up and kind of just make them more space cloudy. What's your favorite thing to do in the dark? It's something that I've been learning more about and like really excited to explore more of are like the glow-in-the-dark mushrooms or bioluminescent mushrooms. And I think that's really cool that like through a chemical process, mushrooms are able to just glow in the dark. And there's a few varieties in Oregon specifically that have this type of bioluminescence of passive glowing through the night. One would be like the western jack-o'-lantern, which is like a poisonous mushroom. It's orange, it's kind of like an oyster type. And then the other is the honey mushroom, actually, surprisingly. The stipe and mycelium glow. And it's kind of cool because, well, all glowing mushrooms, glow-in-the-dark mushrooms, they have their white spored, so they're white decayers, white rot decayers. So not brown rot. There's two different types of spores. There's brown spores, white spores, based on the spores. Spore colors is gill color, it's the same thing. And the honey mushroom is the largest living organism in the world, actually. It's about 3.5 miles across. Or it's 3.5 square miles. And it's about, they estimate about 2,500 years old. Maybe as old as 8,000 years. I think that's pretty cool. The parasite though, well, the honey mushroom is actually like considered more like a parasite. It attacks, it kills like the trees basically because it attacks the roots, and so it's kind of a problem, you know, because you don't want to like prematurely kill the trees, and the fact it's so large, it's very prevalent. There's no aid, like there's no really, once the tree's infected with the fungus, that's kind of it for the tree. It's that's it. So I'm just gonna bring some of this dark color into the middle here to really, I want to keep that darkness in the middle, but also kind of fluff these clouds out. So just kind of doing a little bit of that now. But yeah, you just really want to keep these wispy, keep them pretty, keep them very cloud-like. And yeah, just always remember to have a great time. Okay. That's looking good like that. I kind of want to bring in a little bit of grayness to really make it more, I don't know, what do you think? Is that enough? I feel like it might be enough. Probably is enough. Alright, let's throw some stars. Actually, I'm happy with the way it blended right now. Let's move on. Okay, well, so I have titanium white here, and I have the fan brush. I'm going to make sure it's very clean. And this is where things kind of get a little tricky, because I'm going to be thinning down this titanium white with the paint thinner, my fan brush here. And I'm actually just going to like flick it like you do on the canvas to replicate making stars. And you want this to be pretty thin, not too thin, otherwise it doesn't, you can drip. And then I don't want it like totally spraying, but you gotta find the balance, and you can practice this on your own. I'm gonna make this a little thinner. I can kind of already tell this is not gonna spray like how I'm intending here. So these mushrooms, set my palette down. So these mushrooms, I think, scientists think the reason why, that's looking good. All right, look at that. They just kind of a little spray. I think the reason why the mushrooms started developing this like bioluminescent glow in the dark situation with their spores was to actually attract insects at night. And so it's again like part of the whole spore dispersal process, because I mean that's the whole point of the mushrooms fruiting at the end of their life cycle. It's to spread thy seed, if you will, to spread thy spores. And so that's the reproductive part, is the mushroom blooming and releasing its spores to reproduce. All right, stars. We love that. All right, well, that's our sky. We're pretty happy with that. Let's take a look back. I'm not gonna really add any other stars or any other galactic type situations, and that's fine. All right, I'm gonna grab my palette here. Now, I'm gonna paint probably one of my favorite kind of like mountain scenes. When I used to live in the valley, I used to go to like lots of breweries and stuff, and just like go hang out and stuff in like places like Corvallis. And so, in honor of Corvallis, you can already tell. Let me move my canvas here. That's okay. Okay. So I'm gonna do Mary's Peak. If you've ever lived or been to Corvallis, it's probably one of the more famous peaks in the area. So I'm just going to put that in here at the bottom. I can make it a little bit more magnificent than that. This is a great peak. Right, little hump there. It's got a nice peak here. Now this is from the valley side, so we're looking west here. For those at home who haven't been to Corvallis, Oregon, and unfamiliar with the majesty. This is the largest peak kind of in this area. It's beautiful. If you ever make a trip up there, it's definitely worth the drive. There's all sorts of hiking opportunities if you're into that sort of thing. And it's cool because you can kind of hike by elevation and different sides of the mountain and find, different mushrooms based on growing circumstances, which I think is pretty cool. So it was nice to have such a biodiverse location so close to where I was living in Corvallis. Yeah, all the levels. We love Mary's Peak. I'm gonna put a little bit more height on that. Mary's, she's magnificent. So we're just gonna make her in all her glory here. Yeah. Just gonna add a little more to her. Oh, well, since the bottom of this painting is pretty much black, it's more like a silhouette. Pull off the excess of this black. Put that back on my canvas because I'm going to use that here in a second. Put that there. Okay, I'm going to take this 1-inch brush. Just going to clean up this peak a little bit. We'll do this side too. I'm just going to even that out. And I'm just going to bring that black all the way down to the foreground. Okay. Well, there's the peak. Actually, she's not quite that steep on that side. I'm going to bring her down just a little bit. Oh, and we have a little bit of a hill right here too. So let's just make the foreground just as much accurate as we can. Okay, bring the black down again. Take out the brush strokes. And here we are. Okay. For the sake of time, I'm gonna hold off on cleaning that brush because I want to get these trees in. Okay, let's just get a couple trees. We love trees, nothing crazy. We're just gonna, it's gonna be fun. All right, get a tree here. We love that tree. Yes, we do. We practiced trees last time, so let's pepper in a few more on this horizon here. A little bit of that. And every tree needs a friend. Little short guy there. We don't want to take away from the majesty of the mountain here. Let's have, oh, little guy right here. Big guy. And we'll add some more trees. I'll get some more white paint on my fan brush there. Okay, let's get a couple more. The little guy right there. And why not? You don't really want to do even numbers inside of on paintings or art in general. I don't know. Just kind of want to have it be even. If you do one, do a pair. If you're gonna do a lot, make it odd. Which is pretty much good advice anyway. If you're gonna do a lot, make it odd anyway. This is Mary's Peak with the Milky Way. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Much love. Take care.